YouTube, what's up? It's Barry. I'm here today at the gym to do some shoulders and triceps. I'm kind of progressing out of a cut and towards a lean bulk, so I'm increasing the reps overall to try and get some hypertrophy going today. That's today's name of the game. So gonna get in there and get after it. See you in there.
Started shoulder day off with some arm rotations, which are not pictured, and then I did 2 sets of Cuban presses with only 15 pounds. Now, do not use a weight you cannot control in this exercise or you will snap your shit up. Quote the Hodge twins. So just as a warning, don't go heavy on this exercise. Anyway, I did 2 sets, 15 pounds, just trying to warm up the rotator cuff musculature, the shoulders, and the upper traps, which are all kind of synergized in this exercise to get ready for the heavy weight to come. The shoulder press bar rack was taken, so I just grabbed a 100-pound curl bar with a fixed weight and then cleaned it up and did some standing military press for 3 sets. My shoulders aren't the strongest muscle that I have, but they do respond with muscle growth, and aesthetically are probably better than a lot of my other muscles, which is weird, even though it's not necessarily one of my stronger muscles. As you can see here, I'm struggling on like maybe 8 reps with 100 pounds. Anyway, then I did some close grip bench press. Just ran the table with 135, 145, and 155 on reps. I can only do the 135 on video because I need a spotter on the rest. Had to bring my elbows in more in the future, obviously, because that was like a little bit too wide for my liking. Probably brings the triceps out and the chest in more the more the elbows are out. Next up, I did some dumbbell side lateral raises, just kind of trying to squeeze the middle delt at the top, use a really controllable weight, and I don't try and bring the dumbbells above my shoulders like some folks do, because I feel like that impinges the rotator cuff. So I just kind of bring it up to the side like that, squeeze the middle delt. This is 17.5 pounds, just kind of a weight that you know the middle delt is controlling and not the traps. Next up, Skullcrushers. I can actually go behind my head, which doesn't really crush the skull per se. I haven't been doing these in forever, and this particular set I was able to get a lot more reps than I would have expected at 70. My elbows could be in more here, but I haven't been doing the exercise in a while, so the mechanics were not as natural as they would normally be. So I just go behind the head so I can get a good stretch. I mean, it's really good to have to stretch muscles under resistance sometimes, and this type of behind the head motion with triceps is very good for doing that. Next up, did some rear delt flies with the cables. Took the handles off just to kind of grip the balls on the edge of the cables as a way to get a neutral grip. And this one, you got to use a controllable weight, because if you go too heavy, your traps are going to cheat, and then the more your traps are involved, the less your rear delts are involved, and that's the whole point of this. You don't want to work your traps out with little tiny isolation exercises. Anyway, it just used, very low weight, like 20 pounds, and just squeezed back. Just really got a lot of reps in, trying to force blood into the rear delts. Next up, did some triceps pushdowns. Now, typically I'd way rather do dips than these, but dips on shoulders, in addition to doing a shoulder workout, I just feel like that would be too much. Glenohumeral devastation for one day might put my actual joint at risk, so got to be careful with that shoulder. It's a weak joint. Next up, I did wide grip cable upright rows, and speaking of got to be careful about your shoulder, I don't go above the nips on this one, and I keep a wide grip. Going close grip or above the nips is going to damage the rotator cuff and bring the traps in, whereas this way you can see here I'm squeezing with just the middle delt, and that's really targeting that middle delt instead of ruining my rotator cuff to work traps that are better worked with the deadlift. Next up, did cable pushdowns with the single arm. This particular one, I always try and do the unilateral exercises, of course, to keep it even and balanced. I let my weaker arm dictate the number of reps that I do to keep the development progressing consistently. Even though that doesn't fully devastate the stronger muscle, it's more important that they balance out, because imbalances can lead to serious injuries. I mean, I've had a lot of injuries myself that came from imbalances, where doing unilateral exercises over time correct the imbalance and prevented the injuries from recurring. So this is something that's just really important to include in your programming, and if you're going to get bodybuilding volume in, it's better to do it with unilateral stuff sometimes and let the compound movements take care of the main strength exercises. Next up, I just decided I want to finish off, really devastate the shoulders. This machine has a smooth range of motion. I don't feel any impingement. So I just ran a triple drop set, which was particularly agonizing. But I'm just trying to force blood into that muscle as fast as I can, just to finish the day off and make sure that I've left no stone unturned. So here I'm just trying to push and squeeze out that delt, and then I ran 3 drops. And you'll notice during the second one I kind of ran out of steam, ran out of glycogen, so I just, every time I fail, I would just rest, pause, use whatever muscles I still had left to hold it in place, and then squeeze out whatever reps I could once the glycogen dripped back in the muscle. Anyway, this was the shoulder and triceps workout from today, and stay tuned for future workouts, and like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm going to let this one finish out with the sweet music of pain.
The struggle.
One more and I drop.
The struggle.
Oh. More reps. Ah.